I'm Mark Bennett, 62, widower, retired structural engineer from Upper Arlington, Ohio. 3 months ago, I wired $20,000 from my Chase account to my son for a family trip to Hawaii. Today, I learned I bought myself a front row seat to my own humiliation. Jason stood between me and the Hawaiian Airlines, counterjaw tight, eyes everywhere but mine. Jason, low. Dad, bad news. I forgot to book your ticket. You should just head home. Forgot. The word scraped my ribs like sandpaper. Beat. I pull my carry-on closer, step past him. Excuse me, I tell the agent. Crisp navy blazer, name tag says AMY. Can you check flights to Honolulu today? Name's Mark Bennett. My son says there's an issue. She types. The monitor glow reflects off her glasses. Agent, Amy. I see a Willis Sorry Bennett party of 4. Jason Bennett, Tessa Bennett, 2 minors, purchased 6 weeks ago. But there's no Mark Bennett on the reservation, sir. 6 weeks. I feel the terminal tilt. We planned this 3 months ago, I say, like the calendar could testify for me. Behind me, Jason clears his throat. Jason, Dad, let's not make a scene. Flights are packed. Look, it's complicated. Complicated is narcissist code for I did what I wanted and need you quiet. I keep my eyes on the screen. Any chance of adding 1 seat? I ask Amy. First class. I'll pay now. Is not no conted. We're at final boarding for the 4:15. All cabins are full. There's a convention in Honolulu. Other airlines look the same. Tomorrow? Wait lists across the board. Southwest has a red-eye with 2 stops, expensive last minute. Behind us, a kid points at my tipped suitcase like I'm a spill to be cleaned up. The PA crackles. Final call. Jason's phone buzzes. He glances at it like a lifeline. I glance at mine. Zelle transfer to Jason $20,000. Memo line. Family trip. Air plus hotel plus car. The number stings my eyes. Me, still to Amy. Can you show me the purchase date on my son's reservation? She hesitates, then types. Amy. Ticketed 6 weeks ago, sir. No changes since. To I manned. Translation. This wasn't a forgot. It was a plan. Jason's voice drops to the register abusers use when they realize the room heard them. Jason. Dad, please. You're being dramatic. You know how your memory's been lately. There it is, gaslighting with a side of ageism. I worked 43 years calculating loads on steel and concrete. My memory built bridges you drive across. Son, I turned to face him. Jason. I transferred money from my bank accounts on April 3rd. I have the wire confirmation. You told me you'd book for all of us. And he gives me the reasonable look, chin soft, eyebrows knit. Jason, we'll call you from the hotel. We can figure something out then. No be a long. Figure something out means keep you out, while your money does the heavy lifting. My phone vibrates. A new text from Jason lights the screen. Dad, let's not do this here. Take an Uber home. We'll bring you back something nice. Bring me back something nice. A keychain for the man who funded the ocean view. Another text, this time from Tessa. So sorry for the mix-up, Mark. The kids are already through TSA. You know how chaotic travel gets. A heart emoji is not accountability. It's cover. I scroll up. My email shows the hotel invoice Jason forwarded me weeks ago. Grand Wailea, 10 nights, ocean view suite. The guests line lists 4 names, not mine, and they're like a slap Laura Bennett. My late wife. Dead 3 years. They replaced me with a ghost to keep the head count even. The terminal hum falls away. This is no longer a mishap. It's a theft wrapped in family. I shift into engineer mode, procedure over panic. Can you print me a standby denial? I ask Amy. And a time-stamped note that there's no seat available today. Amy. I can print a general availability note with time and date. Perfect, I say. Written evidence. Jason's jaw flexes. Jason. Dad. Seriously? You're going to paper trail your own son? Yes, I say. Because boundaries without paper are suggestions. He leans in. Voice suddenly sharp. Jason. Hiss. You're going to regret this. Intectively. There it is, the mask slipping. The toxic center. I hold his stare. Not as much as you will. The PA chimes again. Boarding closed. Amy slides me the printout. Amy. I'm sorry, sir. Don't be, I tell her. You just did me a favor. I pick up my carry-on. Slow 180. Walk toward the sliding doors. Every step away from gate 17 is a step toward clarity. I'm an enabler who retired from enforcement the day my wife died. I paid tuition, co-signed leases, bailed out credit cards, picked up daycare when layoffs hit, always just this once, then last time. Then we'll pay you back when taxes come in. I called it love. They called it entitlement. With direct deposit. Phone buzzes again, another text, angrier now. This is childish. Go home. We'll call you later. No. From now on, everything in writing. Send me the full itinerary, booking numbers and receipts tied to my $20,000 by end of day. 3 dots. No reply. On the sidewalk outside the terminal, spring air slaps my face awake. I thumb open the Notes app, then stop. Not good enough. I need something I can hold in court if I must. I flag a cab and climb in. Driver. Where to? Upper Arlington, I say. And can you hand me that yellow legal pad in the seat pocket? He passes it back. I print the first line in block letters. May 15, CMH. 4:42 p.m. Event. Son admits forgot ticket. Agent confirms 6 weeks ago purchase excluding me. Boarding closed. Threat. You're going to regret this. Action. Requested written evidence from airline. Demanded receipts for $20,000. I underline threat. Twice. If Jason wants to play amateur litigator, I'll bring professional documentation. I kept bridges standing through tornado seasons. I can keep my will and my assets. Standing through a family storm, the cab merges into traffic. My phone vibrates one more time, this time a voicemail from Jason. Jason, voicemail. Dad, don't do anything stupid. Take care of yourself. The seed tames until my done. The seed from the present. Stupid is what people call boundaries when they're used to your spine being optional. I click off my phone, cap my pen, and draw a small box in the margin of the pad. Inside it I write a single word. Evidence. I'm done being the funding source for narcissist theater. Tonight I'll gather bank statements, email chains, booking PDFs. Tomorrow I'll call a lawyer, and the next time we meet, it won't be at a gate I'm not allowed to pass. It'll be under lights bright enough to show exactly what's rotten, and a signature heavy enough to make it permanent. Columbus sky was that flat Midwestern gray that makes the asphalt look honest. The driver merged onto I-670, and the airport slid behind us like a bad decision. I opened the yellow legal pad on my knee and drew a hard line under evidence. New header, next 24 hours damage control. Pull bank statements, Chase checking divided by savings, Fidelity brokerage, print Zelle transfer, $20,000 Jason Bennett memo, family trip. Download emails plus PDF invoices hotel car rental flights. Screenshot texts. Export to. PDF for chain of custody. Inventory will divided by trust. Note beneficiaries. POA, authorized users. Freeze any authorized cards Jason might still have. Start journal. Dates. Times. Gaslighting quotes. The driver glanced in the mirror. Long day? Find the corner. Boundary day, I said. First one in a while. Phone buzzes. Nate Coleman pops up. You good? I answered. Nate on speaker. Gravel voice. Heard from Carol who heard from Tessa's sister. You get left at the airport or am I in a sitcom? Not a sitcom, I said. More like a case study in toxic entitlement. Nate, you finally going to quit being their enabler, Mark? Silence on my end for half a second. That word stung in the right way. I think I have been, I said. Ever since Laura died, guilt turned me into an ATM with a heartbeat. Nate, good. Start by locking your financial doors, 2-factor everything, and call a lawyer, probate or estate. Put this on paper where narcissists can't talk around it. Already moving, I said, tapping the legal pad. Tonight I build a paper wall. Tomorrow I pick a bulldozer with a J. D. Nate, proud of you, man. And hey, no midnight backpedaling. Toxic folks sense hesitation like dogs sense bacon. Noted. I hung up and my phone pinged again. Email from Jason. Sub J. We'll settle this later. Body, don't escalate. You're overreacting. We'll FaceTime the kids from the beach tonight. Cool down. Gaslighting in Arial 12. Under it an attachment. Grandwalia. Booking. PDF. I opened it. 4 guests. 10 nights. Ocean view. Paid with my transfer. My name nowhere. The notes field. Surprise family trip keep confidential. Is Nate note. I forwarded it to myself and my printer. Then to a new folder. Case JB divided by exhibits. Another email landed Tessa. S.U. Bedje. Can we be adults? Body. This is a misunderstanding. The kids are excited. Let's not punish them because you got flustered at TSA. Flustered is her polite way of saying senile. Geist gaslighting dressed in a cardigan. I flagged it, read, and printed. I texted Jason back. Me, text. Send the full itinerary, receipts, and credit card statements used for bookings within 24 hours. This is now written only. No calls. 3 dots. Then nothing. The city unspooled arena, river, the quiet wealth of Upper Arlington with its maples pretending nothing bad happens behind craftsman doors. We turned onto my street. My house, Laura's house, stood simple and square, the way a truth stands. Can you wait 2 minutes? I asked the driver. He shrugged. I jogged inside, disarmed the alarm, and went straight to the office. Filing cabinet. Drawer 2, estate. I pulled my will and the old revocable trust we drafted when Laura was sick. I cracked the blue binder open and scanned. Primary beneficiary. Jason Bennett. Contingent. Grandchildren 50 over 50, managed by Jason until 18. Durable POA. Me, Laura, deceased. Successor, blank. Healthcare POA, irrelevant today, but noted. TOD, transfer on death on the house. Trust. Beneficiaries on Fidelity IRA. Jason 100%. I felt my jaw lock. I designed a bridge and handed the troll the toll booth. SFX, printer chattering from the hallway as emails spool. Back to the front door. I handed the driver a 20. Keep it. You reminded me the road goes forward. He grinned. Whatever you're fixing, sir, fix it loud. Door shut. House quiet. I set the will on the desk like a patient who finally admits the diagnosis. I opened my laptop and began locking doors. Chase. Change password. Enable 2FA via app. Remove Jason as authorized user on emergency card. Fidelity. Password reset. Add hardware key. Begin beneficiary. Change draft can't submit without witness. That's tomorrow's war. iCloud divided by email. New passphrase, sign out all devices. Cell plan, removed shared iPad Jason borrowed last summer. Phone buzz. Voicemail transcription arrives. Jason voicemail transcript. Stop acting like a victim. You embarrassed us at the airport. We'll talk when you calm down. Don't touch the accounts. Don't touch the accounts. There it is, the confession in imperative mood. I wrote it into the legal pad. 5:58 p.m. VM. Don't touch the accounts. Meaning, he expects access. Believes control. Narcissist entitlement confirmed. I stood, went to the mantle, and tapped the frame of Laura's photo. I let them turn kindness into currency, I said out loud to the empty room. That's on me. But the tab is closed. I sat again. New page. Self-inventory enabler to exit. I paid Jason's tuition. I co-signed his first lease. I covered 3 job gaps. I funded 2 emergencies that looked a lot like vacations. I never asked for contracts. I accepted promises. Conclusion. I trained a good kid to develop bad habits. Ownership taken. Pattern ends now. I drafted an email to myself, subject line, timeline for counsel, and bullet pointed the last 48 hours with timestamps, names, screenshots attached. Courts don't reward the loudest pain. They respect the clearest paper. Doorbell. Nate ball cap, work boots, a casserole I didn't deserve. Nate. Carol made too much lasagna. Figured you'd forget to eat while drafting your Declaration of Independence. More like articles of boundary, I said, stepping aside. Kitchen? Saturday I ate 2 grim, glorious forkfuls. Nate scanned my legal pad. Nate. Good bones. You need a shark who does probate divided by estate all day. Not a generalist. Someone who loves no contest clauses and video capacity exams. Tomorrow morning, I said. I'll call around Columbus. I want someone who's defended wills against narcissist tantrums. Nate. Also, document every threat. People like Jason rewrite history by Tuesday. I turned the pad so he could see the underlines. He grunted approval. My phone lit up with a new email from Tessa. Sub J. You're scaring the kids. Body. They asked why Grandpa hates us. We told them you were tired and confused. Please don't make this worse. Gaslighting, guilt, and a smear of elder shaming, the trifecta. I hit print. Then I hit record on a small digital voice recorder I keep for contractor notes. Ohio is a one-party consent state. If Jason calls, his words will stop being fog and start being evidence. I walked Nate to the door. Nate. You okay? I was complicit, I said. I'm not anymore. Nate. Good. Remember, boundaries feel mean to the people who profit when you don't have any. When he left, the house hummed fridge, furnace, the quiet systems that keep structures standing. I carried the will to the desk and opened a clean email window to a blank Google search. Columbus, Ohio probate attorney, ironclad will video competency no contest clause. I typed one last line on the legal pad before bed. Tonight, sleep. Tomorrow 9 a.m., counsel. Message to self. Stop feeling guilty. Start fighting smart. SFX, home office, lamp click. Printer, whirring. Distant furnace hum. I don't sleep. Engineers don't guess, we verify. Tonight is load calculation night on my family. I spread the mess across Laura's old desk. Chase statements, fidelity summaries. The forwarded Grand Wailea PDF. I open a new folder on my desktop. Case, JB divided by, exhibits divided by, and start numbering like I'm building a bridge. Exhibit A, Chase wire $20,000 to Jason Bennett, April 3. Memo, family trip, air plus hotel plus car. I export the PDF with timestamp and note the transaction ID on the yellow legal pad. Exhibit B, email chain. Can't wait to snorkel with the kids. I'll book for all of us. I print to PDF, include headers so a judge can see dates, IP trail, the whole breadcrumb. Exhibit C, Grand Wailea invoice 4 guests, not 5. 10 nights, ocean view. Notes field. Surprise, family trip, keep confidential. I highlight confidential because secrecy is how narcissists feed. Then I see it, the part that steals my breath for a beat. Guest 4, Laura Bennett. My dead wife, inserted like a placeholder to keep the math tidy while erasing the person who paid. That's not a mix-up. That's a story they plan to tell later. Grandpa decided not to come. We honored Mom's memory instead. Gaslighting prepackaged for holidays. I pick up the phone and dial the resort directly. Reservations, warm, precise. Aloha. This is Keiko at Reservations. How may I assist? Mark Bennett, Columbus, Ohio. I need to discuss a reservation under Jason Bennett for check-in tomorrow. 10 nights. Ocean view. Keiko. One moment. Yes. I see the file. 4 guests. 10-night stay. Before I go further, please note the following on the record. Primary funding originated from me via a $20,000 transfer for a family trip, including myself. I'm now asserting my rights to cancel any portion paid with my funds due to fraudulent exclusion. Can you confirm the cancellation policy and fees? Keiko, professional. Cancellation inside 7 days is subject to a penalty. For this reservation, the total penalty would be $3,200. I accept the penalty. Please cancel the entire reservation. And please note in the file, canceled by Mark Bennett on May 15 at 6:47 p.m. Eastern. I'll need written confirmation by email with the exact time and the name of the agent who processed it. A pause. Keiko exhales softly, the sound of a person who's seen family wars come through a phone line. Keiko. Understood, Mr. Bennett. I'm processing now. Cancellation confirmed. Email sent. For your record, the system logs my name and timestamp. Keiko A. 6:47 p.m. ET. Thank you, Keiko. If a Mr. Jason Bennett arrives tomorrow asking for the reservation, please inform him the booking was canceled by the primary funding source at that time. Keiko. We can state exactly what's in the record, sir. It was like talking to them be pined. Perfect. People misremember. Computers don't. SFX. Whoosh. Email arrives. Printer starts. Exhibit D. Cancellation confirmation time. Agent. Penalty accepted. I staple the penalty line like a medal. I paid tuition for years. I can pay $3,200 for clarity. Back to the pad. ***6:47 p.m. called Grand Wailea. Cancelled entire reservation. Penalty $3,200. Agent Keiko A. log, exact wording. Reason: exclusion, plus misuse of funds, pattern. Outcome: written confirmation received. I open messages and export today's thread to PDF. The software balks at the emojis fine. I paste screenshots into a single timeline doc with captions. Gaslighting. Guilt. Elder shaming. Under Tessa's, "You're tired and confused," I write. Translation: we decide reality. Your memory is optional. I create Exhibit E. Voicemail transcription. Don't touch the accounts. It's clumsy, but revealing. I flag it admission of expected access. Courts adore admissions. Then the lawyer part of my brain wakes up. I'm not a lawyer, but I engineered around risk my entire life. Checklist. Chain of custody basics. Save original files. Copy into read-only folder. Email copies to a new Gmail I open just for the case, no shared access. Back up to a USB I label JB evidence read-only. Store in the safe with will and trust binder. Print a master index of exhibits with page counts. I open the will again, and this time I don't read, I diagnose. Primary beneficiary: Jason. IRA to Jason. House TOD to trust controlled by. Effectively Jason. If I died last week, I would have rewarded the very behavior gutting me at gate 17. I write a single sentence on the pad, dark enough to dent the page beneath. Design flaw identified. Immediate redesign required. Phone vibrates, new email from Jason. The subject line screams entitlement. Sub J: we're checking in anyway. Body: if you canceled, fix it. Or rebook us somewhere similar. The kids can't sleep in an airport because you're mad. I forward the email to my case, Gmail. Print it. Staple it to Exhibit F. Demand email. Underline the command tone. I answer with 12 words. ME. Reply: all future communication must be in writing. Counsel will respond going forward. I don't owe him a debate. I owe myself a boundary. Next. Banking. I log into Chase Secure Messaging. Me secure message: please remove Jason Bennett as any authorized user on all cards. Confirm no external access, automatic debits, or shared device authorizations exist. Provide written confirmation. I screenshot the message and add it to Exhibit G. SFX. Small drawer opens the safe key. I pull out a sealed manila envelope labeled Estate Originals. I slip in the new evidence, USB, the printed exhibits, the laser-printed cancellation email. I add a sticky. Counsel open with me only. On the pad. Status: funds traced, paper trail secured, resort canceled, communications documented, banking doors closing. Next. Higher probate divided by estate counsel. Restate will. Add no contest clause. Remove Jason as beneficiary. Add charitable beneficiaries. Request video competency during signing. Notify institutions post-execution. I pour coffee I won't finish and stare at the photo of Laura at Hocking Hills, wind in her hair like a secret she planned to tell me later. My throat tightens, but I don't blink. I became an enabler because grief is louder than logic. I say to the empty room. That ends with a notary seal. Phone buzzes, unknown Honolulu number. I let it go to voicemail. Seconds later, a text pops up from Jason. Jason, text: this is abuse. You're punishing children. Call me now. Abuse, I repeat, and write, projection noted. When you set a boundary with a toxic person, they call it cruelty. When you cancel a fraud, they call it drama. I shut the binder, slide it next to the safe, and turn off the lamp. One last line on the pad under tonight's date. Boundary set. Paper holds. Tomorrow. Counsel. SFX. Pre-dawn hush. Refrigerator hum. Distant bird chirp. Phone vibrating on wood. I wake to a screen full of red. 56 missed calls from a Honolulu number. Voicemails stacked like parking tickets. I don't hit play yet. Engineers start with logs. I flip open the yellow legal pad. 5:47 a.m. ET review overnight activity. Missed calls. 5:06 HI time 11:47 p.m. 5:15 a.m. New emails from Jason divided by Tessa. 4. New texts. 9. Goal. Document, not debate. I brew coffee, then press speaker on the first voicemail. Transcription already in my inbox, but I want the tone. Jason VM Hajon. Edgy calm. Dad. The hotel says you canceled. That's ridiculous. Call me back, we'll sort this. Don't overreact. Jason VM Hajon 2. Clipped. Kids are crying. There's nothing available convention in town. Fix this. Jason VM #28. Venom. Stop playing games. You owe us the trip you promised. Jason VM #56. Low growl. You're going to regret this, old man. I pause the playback. Words are steel beams when you bolt them to a timestamp. 62A, M noted threats. You owe us. Fix this. You're going to regret this, old man. Tone progression. Conciliatory guilt, command threat. Pattern. Narcissist escalation. Ohio is a one-party consent state for recording. I pick up my digital recorder, slide the switch to on, and call him back from the landline clean audio. No Bluetooth. SFX, dial tone, connection click. Jason, immediate, ragged. Finally. You put us on the street, Dad. The kids slept in the lobby. Put you on the street? I say. Or protected myself after you excluded me with my $20,000. Don't start with your legalese. You canceled in a tantrum. Correction. I documented a fraud in writing. The resort noted 6:47 p.m. ET, Agent Keiko, penalty accepted. I have written evidence. Jason, shifting tactics. Look, we'll make this right when we get home. Just rebook us for now. Use the Fidelity account. There it is, the reflex to reach for my accounts like a faucet. State clearly, I say, voice flat. Are your credit cards maxed out? And for Melton be a den. Jason, too fast. We budgeted assuming you'd, cover. Say it, I prompt. Jason. Yes, they're tapped. Happy? Thank you, I say. That's an admission. Jason. Stop talking like a cop. Your family. Family doesn't embezzle by lie. You purchased 4 tickets 6 weeks ago, left me at final boarding, and expected me to fund the rest from my bank accounts. Jason, scoff. We forgot 1 seat. You're making this toxic. Gaslighting noted. I say, and write it on the pad. Tessa's voice bleeds into the line. Too loud, too rehearsed. Tessa background, then on. Mark, the kids don't understand why Grandpa hates us. Do you want to be that person? Put Jason back, I say. We're staying in writing after this. Jason back on. Brittle. Okay, ground rules. You rebook us today. When we get back, we'll talk about reimbursements. Here are my ground rules, I say. Everything from now on is written only. Send me receipts, itineraries, and a written explanation for substituting Laura, your dead mother, on a hotel booking to erase me. He goes silent for a beat, caught between shame and the next angle. Jason. We thought it would be sweet. A tribute. You don't tribute a woman by stealing her husband's seat, I say. That's a story you crafted to varnish a con. He snaps. Jason. Fine. You want war? When I get back to Ohio, I'm calling a lawyer. We'll get a guardianship if you're slipping. We'll make sure the will protects the kids. He said the quiet part. He wants my capacity questioned, my will captured. Thank you for clarifying intent, I say. Calm as a level. For your notice, I am hiring probate counsel today. There will be a no contest clause, a video recorded capacity exam, and a new beneficiary structure you can't pry open with a crowbar. Jason, snarl. You're unbelievable. I've been believable for 20 years, Jason. That was the problem. I hang up. The recorder's little red light blinks like a heartbeat. I label the file. Call JB, 607 AM, M-Wave, and copy it to the read-only USB. 6:18 AM call summary. Admissions. Cards maxed. Expected access to Fidelity. Tribute. Justification for swapping Laura's name. Threat to seek guardianship and litigate. Threat language. You're going to regret this. We'll get a guardianship. Countermeasures. Counsel. No contest. Video capacity. My inbox pings. Email from Jason lands transparent rescue mission. Sub J. Misunderstanding at the gate. Body. We never meant to exclude you. This is getting out of hand. We're out of pocket because of your cancellation. Please wire $6,000 so the kids can have a bed tonight. We'll reconcile later. J. Out of pocket because of my cancellation is the kind of sentence that floats downstream, face up in court. I click reply. Email. All communications must remain in writing. Provide itemized receipts, card statements, and the original booking timeline showing when you purchased 4 seats. Funds will not be dispersed. Future responses will be sent by counsel. Printer whirs. I stack the fresh pages into exhibits HK. Admissions, threats. Guardianship angle. I text Nate. Me. Text. He threatened, guardianship. Recording saved. Coffee at 8? Then I call counsel. Nate, text. 8 on the porch. Bring the yellow Bible. My phone lights up again, unknown HI number. I let it fall to voicemail. Immediately, a text from that number. Unknown text. This is Saul Tessa's dad. I'm an accountant. We'll help Jason repay you when we get home. For now, the kids need a room. Be reasonable. I breathe in, out. He's the reasonable one. The triangulation phase. Bring in a third party to soften you. Me. Text. Saul. I appreciate the tone. This is a boundary, not a tantrum. Written evidence shows pre-planned exclusion. Any future discussion flows through my attorney. Please send a mailing address for service. The dots appear. Then vanish. Message received. Sun drags a pale stripe over the maple outside my office window. I pour another coffee I don't quite want and write across a clean page. This is not revenge. This is governance. Because if I don't govern my money, my time, my name, narcissists will. And they call that love until you cost them. SFX. Door creak. Porch steps. Nate knocks. 2 short taps like a drumline warm-up. Nate, through the door. You ready to be the meanest kind of kind? The kind with rules. I open the door with the yellow legal pad under my arm and a clarity that tastes like metal. Let's set the day, I say. Then I'm calling a shark. SFX. Morning porch ambience. Mugs clink. Distant lawnmower. At 8 a.m., Nate and I drew battle lines on the yellow legal pad over black coffee. At 9:02, I dialed the first number on my short list. Morales and Trent probate. Trusts. Estates. The receptionist said they were booked for 2 weeks. I said guardianship threat, video capacity today, and $20,000 misappropriation. She found 1030 A.M. like it had been there all along. SFX. Office elevator ding. Shoes on marble. Faint HVAC. The conference room at Morales and Trent was glass, oak, and a view of downtown Columbus that made you want to make permanent decisions. Avia Morales walked in with a legal pad of her own. Hair back, presence forward. AVA. I read the intake notes. I need your timeline, your documents, and your goal in one sentence. I slid the exhibits binder across the table. Top page labeled index. Timeline is tabbed. Documents are numbered. Goal. Make sure Jason never has keys to my life again. No nods. No smiles. Just the good kind of silence while she scanned Exhibit C, hotel invoice. Exhibit D, cancellation email. Exhibit H, admissions and threats. And the recorded call summary. AVA without looking up. You did half my job already. Good. Here's the plan, Mr. Bennett. She ticked points off like metronome clicks. Restate your will today with express disinheritance of Jason for financial exploitation and threatening coercion. A strong no contest clause, in terrorem. If he contests and loses, he forfeits any token bequests. Charitable beneficiaries for the bulk, you pick, will structure. Independent executor, not family, with broad powers to defend the estate. Letter of intent summarizing your reasoning in plain language for any future judge. Revise incapacity documents. Execute fresh durable financial POA and healthcare POA naming trusted non-family agents. Will talk candidates. Revoke any stale POAs that Jason could weaponize. Add a HIPAA authorization for your chosen people, no one else. Trust work. Restate your revocable living trust. Appoint professional trustee or the firm's trust company. Update funding. Deed house via TOD or retitle to trust if appropriate. This keeps the probate fight small. Embed spendthrift and disinheritance language mirroring the will. Beneficiary changes outside the will. Fidelity IRA, brokerage, life insurance. Change to trust or charities. So it's all aligned. These transfer by contract, not by will, harder to contest. Capacity plus documentation. On camera signing today with 2 witnesses plus notary. Short video Q&A. You state date, place, assets in broad strokes, and your reasons. Optional same-day cognitive screening with a clinician we use. The report sits in our file. Communications lockdown. From now on, we respond. You do not. I'll send a cease and desist, harassment, and an instruction that all contact be in writing to counsel. We'll set a litigation hold on your emails divided by records. You keep everything. Financial perimeter. Confirm no shared cards, no auto debits tied to Jason, and no device access. I'll draft letters to Chase and Fidelity noting potential financial exploitation and requesting heightened verification. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. How soon? Ava. Drafts by this afternoon. Signing by end of day. The longer you wait, the more time a narcissist has to build a counter-narrative. I nodded. Beneficiaries: Ohio State College of Engineering, Robotics Scholarships, Columbus, Children's Literacy Fund, Mid-Ohio Food Collective, and a Senior Services Program. Percentages flexible. My priority is permanence. AVA, making notes. We'll structure a charitable trust with a small donor-advised carve-out if you want wiggle room. Executor, consider a professional fiduciary. They don't get guilt-tripped at Thanksgiving. Do it, I said. And name a backup. She looked up for the first time. Measuring. You understand this will detonate the family myth that you're obligated. This is one take. I engineered bridges, I said. Some spans have to be blown to save the city. She flipped to a fresh page. POA agents. Nate Coleman for the temporary, he's blunt enough to be useful. For long-term, a professional. No family. Good boundary. Let's memorialize your reasons. Speak plainly for the camera later. I spoke now. Like a draft. I'm restating my estate plan because my adult son used gaslighting, entitlement, and financial dependence to exclude me from a vacation I funded. Then threatened me when I set a boundary. Charity will do more good than feeding a pattern I created with misplaced guilt. She underlined misplaced guilt. Keep that sentence. I'm in retentional pride. SFX. Her paralegal, Jen, knocks and slides in with a laptop. Jen. Doc shells loaded. Need full legal name, DOB. Last 4 of SSN for identity paragraphs. I provided details. Jen typed like the building was on fire. 2 more items. Guardianship threat. We headed off with a capacity video and, if needed, a doctor's note. Harassment. If he escalates, we can pursue a civil protection order on elder abuse grounds. It sets a paper consequence for future explosions. Set the table, I said. If he charges, he hits policy. Not my door. My phone buzzed. Jason, email. We spoke to an attorney. You can't cut family out like that. We'll fight this. Ava had the look of someone who's heard that sentence enough times to print it on mugs. AVA. In Ohio, you can leave your estate to the Columbus skyline if you're competent and the paperwork's clean. Contesting is easy. Winning is hard against ironclad documents and video. I forwarded her the email. She smirked softly. Thank you for the exhibit. We worked the asset map next. House paid off. Fidelity IRA. Brokerage. Checking divided by savings. A small life insurance policy. Car. AVA. We'll pour over residual assets into the trust. TOD. The car if you want it simple. After signing, we send institution letters with copies. Not the whole plan to update beneficiaries. We don't give Jason a roadmap. Sedating that time for quiet strength, I said. I like it. She slid a 1-page sheet across. Rules for not getting played. Do not respond to bait. Forward to counsel. Do not meet without a witness or lawyer. Keep records. You're already A+. If he shows up, call police. Don't litigate on the lawn. Tell neighbors, Nate, the bare minimum. All contact goes through counsel. I initialed it. A ritual. But rituals matter. Ava. Last tone. You'll be kind to the grandkids, but you cannot negotiate with someone who treats boundaries as insults. Offer a path. Therapy. Apology. Written repayment plan before any contact resumes. If he refuses, the distance stays. That's my line, I said. I'll frame it. Has it tended? She closed her pad. We break for 60 minutes. I draft. You go downstairs, get a sandwich, don't text anyone. When you come back, we sign on camera. I stood, then hesitated. Do you ever get tired of cleaning up families like mine? Something flickered behind her eyes there and gone. A hairline crack you notice only if you've spent a life reading Stress in Steel. AVA. Even. I don't clean up families. I protect documents from bad behavior. Fair enough. SFX. Hallway footsteps. Printer spooling at industrial speed. In the lobby, I texted Nate. It's happening. Ironclad by sundown. He replied with a thumbs up and a photo of the yellow legal pad on my porch, like a reserve flag. Back upstairs at 12:05, the conference room had transformed into a signing theater. 2 witnesses, a notary, a 4 Kelvin's camera on a tripod, pens aligned like scalpels. AVA. State your name, today's date, and why you're doing this. Red light on. My name is Mark Bennett. Today is May 16th. I am restating my estate plan because I will no longer be an enabler. I am competent. I understand my assets. I'm choosing charity over entitlement, boundaries over guilt, and paper over promises. The notary seal thunked like a gavel. Pages turned. I signed will. I signed trust. I signed POAs. I initialed the no contest clause with a steadiness I felt in my teeth. When we finished, Ava slid me a slim folder. Ava, these are client copies. Originals go to our vault. We'll overnight institution letters. If Jason contacts you, forward it. If he threatens guardianship, we reply once with video. I tucked the folder under my arm, the new architecture of my life. On my way out, she called after me, voice softer but steady. Mr. Bennett, one more rule. Don't apologize for being clear. I didn't turn, just lifted the folder in salute and kept walking. Past the glass, the oak, and a skyline that looked a shade sharper now that the load path was true. SFX, conference room air steady, camera fan whisper, paper stack squared, notary stamp clicks once testing. By noon the room looks like an OR. 2 witnesses, a notary, a 4 Kelvin's camera on a tripod. Ava stands at the head of the table. Jen lines up signature tabs like runway lights. My yellow legal pad sits at 2 o'clock open to index, exhibits like a quiet bodyguard. AVA, firm, to camera. This is the execution of the restated will, restated revocable living trust, durable financial POA, healthcare POA, HIPAA authorization, and supporting documents for Mark Bennett. We will record a brief capacity Q&A. Red light on. I straighten my shoulders. Engineers design for load. Today's load is clarity. AVA off-camera prompts, state your name, today's date, and where we are. Mark Bennett. Today is May 16. We're at Morales and Trent, Columbus, Ohio. Do you understand what you're signing? Yes. A will that controls assets passing by probate, a trust that holds and receives the rest, and powers of attorney so trusted agents not my son act if I'm incapacitated. Describe your assets in broad strokes. House in Upper Arlington, paid off. Fidelity IRA and brokerage. Chase checking and savings. A small life insurance policy. Car. Who inherits under your plan? Charities and the trust. Ohio State College of Engineering scholarships. Robotics. Columbus Children's Literacy Fund. Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Senior Services. Columbus. Executor is an independent fiduciary, not family. Trustee is professional. Jason Bennett is excluded. Jen's eyes flicker. She's seen this line before. It never gets less heavy. Ava. Why exclude Jason? Because he used gaslighting, entitlement, and financial dependence to exclude me from a vacation I funded. Then threatened me and my accounts when I set a boundary. I will no longer be an enabler. Charity will do more good than feeding that pattern. AVA. If Jason contests your will, there's a no contest clause. If he files and loses, he gets nothing. Paper over promises. Ava nods once clean, on script. AVA to notary. Proceed. SFX, pages slide, pens uncap. Pens. I sign the restated will first. Ava reads the key provision aloud for the camera. AVA. Reading. The testator expressly excludes Jason Bennett from any bequest due to demonstrated financial exploitation, coercive threats, and attempted manipulation of the testator's estate planning. The words land like pilings into bedrock. I initial the no contest in terroram clause. I initial the paragraph appointing Bexley Fiduciary Services as independent executor, with broad powers to defend and settle claims. No Thanksgiving guilt leverage. No driveway negotiations. We pivot to the restated revocable trust, AVA. Spendthrift provisions are baked in. Trustee can withhold, redirect, or deny distributions in the trustee's discretion. No beneficiary, including Jason, may assign or attach anything. I sign the trust. Pour-over language ties loose ends back to the corpus. Schedule A lists initial trust assets. Will fund more after this. Beneficiary changes at fidelity. TOD alignment. The deed. SFX. Notary seal. Thunk. Witnesses sign. Powers of attorney next. I name Nate Coleman as temporary agent. Tight scope. Financial only. Primary long-term agent. A professional fiduciary. Healthcare POA goes to Dr. Patel, Laura's old physician and friend, with alternates listed. HIPAA authorization names Ava and Nate, not Jason. AVA, to camera. We're revoking any prior POAs. Copies will be sent to institutions with a do not accept notice for older documents. I sign the letter of intent, my voice steady as I read it into the record. Me, reading. To any court or family member, this plan is deliberate. I am of sound mind. My decision to exclude Jason Bennett is a response to documented financial misuse, gaslighting, and threats. Not to a disagreement. My beneficiaries reflect my values. Education, children, food security, elders. I prefer to fund community rather than repeat a cycle of entitlement I regret enabling. A witness discreetly wipes an eye. The notary seals again. Thunk. SFX. Camera reposition. A softer lens now. AVA. Capacity clip. Mr. Bennett. Who is the president? What city are we in? What day of the week is it? I answer. Then I add, unprompted. And the unit conversions for a 20-foot span with composite decking at 10 PSF live load are the same today as they were in 1989. Ava chuckles. Brief. Human. Capacity demonstrated. SFX. Camera clicks off. Memory card eject. Gen packages originals will. Trust. POAs into a sealed envelope for the firm vault. She gives me a client set with a red band. Now we project manage the outside world. We'll send institution letters, not the whole will, just the need to know. New POAs, contact protocols, and a note that exploitation is suspected. Fidelity beneficiary changes will move to the trust, divided by charities. Chase receives a heightened verification request. We'll file the deed update if you want the house in trust. File it, I say. Quietly. She slides over a one-page communication lockdown script. Forward all emails divided by texts from Jason to counsel. Do not reply. If he arrives at the house, call Upper Arlington PD. Show no trespass letter will draft. If anyone mentions guardianship, we reply once with video and the capacity letter from today's clinician. Of. Dr. Rosen can do the cognitive screen at 2:30. 10 minutes. Light touch. It sits sealed, unless we need it. Book it, I say. I want redundancy. My phone vibrates. Email from Jason. Subject line, reconsider. I slide it across. Ava reads. Grim smiles. AVA. He cites family fairness and what mom would have wanted. Classic. We respond once. All communications through counsel. Then silence. We do not debate ghosts. We sign the response authorization. She'll reply, I won't. Final stack. Cease and desist, divided by harassment. Notice drafted. Litigation. Hold memo for my records. A checklist titled, Post-execution funding. Fidelity beneficiary. Trust divided by charities. Sign in office with notary. Chase. Remove any lingering shared access. Flag account. Life insurance. Beneficiary switch. Vehicle. Add TOD if desired. Safe deposit. Add new access card. Remove anyone not on today's POAs. I initial each line. Paper moves money, not feelings. Ava gathers the last document, then pauses, weighing a sentence. AVA, quiet, even. Mr. Bennett, what you did today is protect governance, not punish a person. If you wobble, call me, don't call him. I won't wobble, I say. Then I glance at the yellow legal pad and add. But if I do, it goes in writing first. We shake hands. Her grip says load path established. SFX. Hallway soft. Elevator ding. City murmurs beyond glass. In the elevator, I hold the red band folder like a new set of keys. It is. Keys to doors I should have locked years ago. On the street, the light is different, not brighter, but cleaner. I text Nate a photo of the notary seal. Me. Text. Paper over promises. Signed. Nate. Text. You just earthquake-proofed your life. I head to Dr. Rosen's building for the capacity screen, then home to back up video files and slot the client copies into the safe behind Laura's recipe box. The phone vibrates a few more times in my pocket. Jason, Tessa, an unknown, but I don't pull it out. Today, the only thing I answer is paper. SFX, airport ambience, rubber wheels on tile, PA chime. Welcome to Columbus. And comment. 3 weeks later, CMH arrivals smells like coffee and jet fuel. I stand at the rail with Ava on my left, her trial folder tucked under her arm. My yellow legal pad is under mine, a quiet metronome against my ribs. On my phone, do not disturb. On my side, paper. The sliding doors cough up waves of travelers' sunburns, lease, duty-free bags. Then I see them. Ethan and Maya spot me first, Ethan breaking into a run. Grandpa. They crash into my waist. I hug them, genuine, clean. Over their heads I watch Jason clock, Ava, then the folder. His vacation tan drains a shade. Jason. What are you doing here? Welcoming you home, I say, and correcting the record. Tessa slows when she sees Ava. Her smile calcifies. Saul, her father, hangs back, accountant eyes taking inventory. Ava steps forward, calm. Professional. Not a bailiff, not a bouncer. AVA. Measured. Mr. Bennett, per your request, I'm delivering copies. Restated will, restated trust, cease and desist, divided by communication protocol, and the capacity video certification cover letter. Originals are secured. She offers the sealed envelope. Jason doesn't take it. Jason, too loud. You can't serve me a will in an airport. Ava, this isn't service, it's notice. Service applies to lawsuits. You're not being sued, you're being informed. Maya tugs my sleeve. Did you see the dolphins? She asks. I kneel to her level. I can't wait to hear everything, kiddo. I point to the bench 10 feet away. Tell me all about it with Grandma Laura's favorite detail. What color was the water? She grins. Blue like Gatorade. She and Ethan hop to the bench. I straighten to the adults. Jason to me, harsh whisper. You're humiliating us. You humiliated me at gate 17, I say. Today is documentation. Ava holds the envelope steady. AVA. Mr. Bennett, you should read this privately. The no contest clause is plain. If you challenge and lose, you get nothing. If you harass our client, we seek a civil protection order. All communications to counsel in writing. That's the protocol. Season to be this fire and... Jason snatches the envelope, tears the seal. Scans like a drowning man reading a tide chart. Jason, voice climbing. This says disinherited. You're cutting me out? After everything I've done for this family. After everything I paid for this family. The will reflects that I'm done being an enabler. He jabs a page with his finger. Jason. No contest clause? You think you can scare me out of court? Ava. We don't use fear. We use drafting. There's a capacity video and a clinician's letter. If you file, you pay your lawyer to lose. Tessa edges closer, voice set to reasonable. Tessa. Mark, think about the kids. Fairness. What would Laura want? I look at her. Laura would want truth over optics. She didn't raise a son to steal a seat his father paid for. Saul exhales. Jason, he says quietly. Read before you perform. Jason won't. He keeps flipping, hoping the pages change if he turns them fast enough. He finds the executor paragraph. Jason, you named a stranger to run your estate. ME, a professional. Someone who doesn't negotiate in parking lots. SFX, a stroller squeaks by. The PA announces baggage claim carousel numbers. Jason tries a new angle. Jason, you can't cut family out in Ohio. Pretty sure that's illegal. Competent adults can leave their estate to charity. The Columbus skyline, even. Your father chose scholarships, literacy, food, seniors. You're not the skyline. He flinches. Then he goes for the throat. Fine. We'll go for guardianship. He's slipping. He canceled a hotel like a lunatic and made the kids sleep on tile. Me. I documented fraud. And I slept in my bed. Ava flips open her folder just enough to show a letterhead. AVA. This is a capacity letter from Dr. Rosen, sealed unless needed. We also have video of today's plan signing where Mr. Bennett states his assets and decisions. That evidence is the opposite of what you're threatening. He stares at the folder like it's radioactive. Fern not here. Wrong story. I refocus. Tessa presses 2 fingers to her temple. Tessa. Jason. Stop. Please. He can't. Narcissists don't relinquish a script. They shred it or set it on fire. He chooses fire. Jason, to me. You like paper so much? Paper this, I'm your son. Blood matters. Blood is biology, I say. Behavior is family. Ethan runs back with kid timing, only the universe could plan. Grandpa, the water was electric blue, he says, and we ate pineapple that made my tongue sting. I smile at him. That happens to me too. Jason watches the exchange with a look that isn't paternal. It's calculating. He tries to pivot on the kids again. Jason, they'll never understand why you did this. They'll understand cause and effect, I say. Actions have consequences. Sometimes those consequences fund robots and books for other kids in their city. Maybe for them someday through merit, not proximity. SFX. A suitcase thumps off a carousel. A baby laughs. A wheelchair squeaks. Jason shakes the envelope at Ava like it insulted him. Jason. We have a lawyer. AVA. Great. Email us their appearance and your mailing address. Stop texting our client. Tessa pulls at his elbow. Jason. Enough. He yanks his arm free and points at me. The old threat resurrected. Smaller now. Jason. You're going to regret this. And the rindings dollars. And was like in the beaten rumenta. Anbinderd. I lift the yellow legal pad enough for him to see the page header. CMH arrivals documentation. I write the sentence as he says it, with the time. I look up and hold his eyes, then tear the corner and hand it to Ava like a receipt. Noted. He crumples the envelope in one hand, then smooths it, as if creasing the paper could undo its force. That's the thing about governance once it exists. You don't have to raise your voice. It just sits there, unalterable, waiting for the next poor argument to run into it. Saul steps between us, palms low. Jason, take this home, read it. Then get advice that isn't anger. Jason stares at his father-in-law, sees no rescue, and finally swallows. He shoves the envelope into his carry-on, zips it like he's sealing a wound. I turn back to Ethan and Maya. You hungry? There's a stand that sells pretzels shaped like os, I say. For Ohio. Their eyes light up. They look at Jason. He says nothing, calculating optics again, so I hand each kid $5 and point toward the kiosk in plain sight. AVA, low to me. We done? We're done, I say. The rest goes through email. We step back from the rail. The kids return with pretzels and cinnamon dust on their lips. I touch Ethan's shoulder. Tell your dad I'll always say hello to you, I say. And I'll always say no to being used. Jason hears. He doesn't answer. Ava and I walk toward the exit. Behind us, luggage wheels start moving again. Vacations end. Architecture remains. SFX. Sliding doors hiss open to the Ohio afternoon. AVA. As we clear the door. Neutral. That went as expected. Better, I say. He said the line. And I wrote it down. She half smiles. Paper wins. We cross the pickup lane. My phone vibrates, unknown. I ignore it. The light feels like part 1 never happened, but it did. That's why we're still standing. Lunch? Ava asks. After one question, I say. Why do you care about cases like mine this much? She watches a family hug and a curbside tangle, grandparents, grandkids, everybody sticky with airport relief. Her answer doesn't come yet. Cut to black, leave the question hanging for part 8's twist. SFX. Curbside traffic, whoosh, car doors, a distant luggage cart clatter. We leave CMH arrivals and cut across the pickup lane. Ava's question hangs. Lunch? I say yes, but I want the answer she didn't give at the door. SFX. Diner bell jingle, plates, coffee pour. We sit in a booth at a no-drama Ohio diner, chrome clock, black coffee, laminated menus that don't lie. I set the yellow legal pad on the table like a placemat. Ava orders soup she's not looking at. Back there, you knew exactly where he'd go. Guardianship. Mom would have wanted. You can't cut family out. That's not just experience. She studies the steam off her mug. Then she sets the record free. AVA. Even lower register. When I was 19, my mother Elena lost her house to her own son, my half-brother. He sold her mortgage story to the bank and spent the equity. When she tried to revoke the POA, he'd slipped in front of her after a surgery, He threatened to have her declared incompetent. I don't breathe. She continues like she's laying rebar. Ava. I was pre-law with a part-time job and a bus pass. We didn't have money for litigation, so we built paper. We documented threats, captured admissions, found a legal clinic that believed us, and won just enough to stop the bleeding. Not the house too late, but the pattern. My mother died in a rented duplex she could afford. She died clear, not confused. That's what paper buys. The diner hums a respectful distance away. Suddenly her obsession with capacity videos, no contest clauses, independent fiduciaries clicks into place. It isn't abstract to her. It's a scar. Me. Quiet. Thank you for saying it out loud. AVA shrug that isn't a shrug. I take these cases because narcissists outsource their guilt and enablers outsource their power. I can't fix feelings, I can engineer governance. We eat in a silence that isn't empty. My phone face down on the vinyl buzzes like a trapped hornet. I flip it. 3 new emails. Jason, Tessa, and a law firm I don't know. I slide the phone to Ava. She scrolls, composed. Ava reading, Jason, alleging undue influence by a predatory attorney and elder abuse via isolation. Classic projection. He also threatens again to take the will to court. AVA, reading Tessa. Think about the kids. You're toxic for setting a boundary. She weaponizes empathy when money's at stake. AVA reading firm email. We represent Jason Bennett. Preserve all records. Our client disputes capacity and claims coercion by counsel. She looks up, unruffled. They're trying the triad. Smear counsel, erode capacity. Flip moral frame. I underline triad on the pad. Response. AVA already drafting in her head. 1 letter, 3 bullets. Hold acknowledged. We're preserving. So are they. Capacity. Enclosed clinician letter and video index. Full video on request under protective terms. Undue influence. Client-initiated contact. Independent witnesses, notary, and on-camera, Q&A disprove it. Also, independent executor and professional trustee negate any benefit to counsel. She taps the table with a pen tip. Then we set a price for bad behavior. If they continue threats, we file for a civil protection order and seek fees if they file frivolous claims. I watch the steel assemble behind her eyes. The second twist isn't theatrical. It's structural. She isn't just good at this, she's chosen it like oxygen. My phone buzzes again, Saul this time. Saul. Email. Accountant to accountant, if you'll let me mediate. I'll get Jason to stop. He's ashamed but can't say it. I breathe once, then twice. Shame is not accountability. It's optics, with a headache. ME, to Ava. I want a path for them that isn't a trap, but it has conditions. AVA. Name them. We'll put the bridge in writing. I dictate while she types into the firm template. Written apology, acknowledging pre-planned exclusion, gaslighting, and threats. Therapy. 6 sessions minimum, with a licensed family therapist, not church counseling. Focused on boundaries and financial abuse. Signed attendance verified. Repayment plan for the $20,000. Plus, the $3,200 penalty. At $X divided by month. Auto debit, into a separate account. No access to my home, banking, or devices. All contact via email to counsel for 90 days. Any smear about capacity or guardianship threats voids the plan. She nods, satisfied. We'll send it to Saul, not to Jason. He's the only functional adult in that email chain. SFX. Printer at the hostess stand spits a receipt. A fork scrapes a plate. Me. One more thing. I want to fund something visible. Robotics kits for middle schools. Put my name small, not a plaque, just enough that if my grandkids walk past, they know generosity isn't an inheritance. It's a decision. Ava half smiles. We'll tie it to the trust's charitable distribution schedule. Quarterly grants. Paper with purpose. She hits send on 2 letters. Response to counsel and conditional path to Saul. My phone dings. Immediate. Jason again. No counsel CC'd. Jason. Email. You're sick. Ava is a vulture. You'll die alone if you keep this up. Ava tilts her head, not surprised, just noting weather. Ava. Do not reply. I'll add it to Exhibit L. Harassment and smears. Judges love time-stamped tantrums, and in the cover, I stare at the line, "You'll die alone," until it stops meaning anything. Then I write beside it, "Lonely is cheaper than used." We leave cash on the table and step into the Ohio afternoon. SFX, daylight, a distant mower, car doors. On the sidewalk, she pauses, then adds the human footnote, AVA. My mother used to say, "Kindness isn't currency." I believed her too late. You believed her right on time. We drive to my house. Nate is on the porch with 2 iced teas and the face of a man trying to gauge structural integrity after an earthquake. "Nate, how went the airport theater?" "On book," I say. He said the line. I wrote it down. Ava hands Nate a 1-page porch protocol. What to do if Jason shows up. Call PD. No debates, show no trespass letter once it's filed. Inside, I open the safe and slide in the client copies behind Laura's recipe box. Nate hovers at the doorway like a foreman who hates being off the clock. Nate, to Ava. "You're the shark?" AVA without teeth. "I'm the railing on the high bridge." Nate nods like he respects railings more than sharks. SFX. Email swoosh from my laptop. Saul replied. Saul email. "Thank you for a structured path. I will get Jason to read this. No promises, but I agree to your terms in principle. Please CC me on all council communication." Ava sends a brief acknowledgement, CCs his firm address, and closes the laptop with a click that sounds like a vault. We step back onto the porch. The street is the same street it's always been. The angle is different because I am me. "You ever regret taking these cases?" She considers it, eyes on the maple shadows cutting the lawn into geometry. Ava. "Regret is for feelings. I trade in outcomes. Today, an outcome happened in an arrivals hall, in front of children who deserve a better definition of fair." The second twist settles somewhere under my sternum. She fights this fight because she once lost it. She wins it like a quiet personal vow. My phone buzzes with one more email from Jason's counsel, shorter, less operatic. Opposing counsel. Email. "We have advised our client of the risks inherent in a contest given your capacity documentation and no contest clause. We propose a cooling-off period of 30 days with all communication through counsel." Ava shows me the screen. Satisfied. Ava. "Paper did that. Not speeches. Paper and someone who knows how to hold it," I say. She checks her watch. "I have a 4 p.m. probate hearing. You have a quiet afternoon. Don't fill it with rumination. If you need noise, alphabetize your exhibits." I salute with the yellow legal pad. She heads to her car, then turns back. The smallest smile allowed by jurisprudence. AVA. "Mark, don't apologize for being clear." I don't. Not to her. Not to Nate. Not to the empty living room that used to be a negotiation table. SFX. Front door latch. House hush. A distant lawn sprinkler ticks. I put the pad on the desk. Write a new header. Aftermath rules of engagement. Then I underline it once, hard enough to groove the page beneath. The phone stays face down. The house holds its breath the way houses do when the load finally finds its columns. The twist isn't that the lawyer had a past. It's that my future now has a spine. Cut to. Evening light on the kitchen wall. The sound of a single email arriving. Ignored. SFX. Late afternoon. Ohio, quiet sprinkler ticking. A mower 3 houses down. Screen door creak. Cooling off period. 30 days. Paper says so. Paper holds. I spend day 1 like a foreman after a storm inspecting load paths. SFX. Pen against the yellow legal pad. Aftermath task list. Checked. Fidelity. Beneficiaries updated to trust, divided by charities. Confirmation numbers printed. Medallion signature guarantee stamped. Chase. Written confirmation Jason removed as authorized user anywhere he ever was. Heightened verification flag added. Branch manager initials. Copy to counsel. Deed. Quitclaim to trust signed divided by notarized. Franklin County Recorder e-file receipt in my inbox. Life insurance. Beneficiary switch processed. Carrier email saved. Vehicle. TOD form filed with BMV. Stamped copy in glove box. Ring doorbell. Motion zones tightened. Porch protocol taped inside the foyer. If Jason appears, don't open. Call UAPD. Hand officer the no trespass letter once filed. Neighbors. Nate and Carol briefed. All contact goes through counsel. By day 3, the quiet feels less like aftermath and more like design. SFX, email ding. Ava forwards opposing counsel's second note. Acknowledged receipt of capacity materials. Advised client against contest. Accept 30-day email-only communication through counsel. No apology. No plan. Just posture. I write. Posture is not equal to progress. Then I take progress anyway. SFX, printer whir. Ava's office sends the conditional path as a signature-ready PDF with blanks where adults put ink. Written apology, acknowledging pre-planned exclusion, gaslighting, and threats. Therapy. 6 sessions with a licensed family therapist. Attendance verified directly to counsel. Repayment. $20,000 plus $3,200 penalty. Auto debit $X divided by month from Jason and Tessa's joint account to a separate Bennett restitution account. No access to my home, banking, devices. Email only via counsel for 90 days. Any smear about capacity or guardianship threats voids the plan. We send it to Saul, CC opposing counsel, not Jason. Paper goes to the adult in the room. SFX, porch steps. Nate drops into the chair beside mine. 2 lemonades. Nate. You look calm. That scare me or help me? Both, I say. Calm is what happens when you stop being an enabler and start being an executor of your own life. He studies my face like a beam he's thinking of trusting. Don't soften if they cry. I won't. Crying is water. Paper is concrete. We stare at the maples a while, trading weather and baseball because talking about ordinary things is a victory. SFX, phone buzz Ava. AVA, phone, 2 updates. 1. Saul signed his side as acknowledged and encouraged. He's pushing. 2. Jason tried an end run, emailed a cousin about guardianship. Cousin forwarded to me. I've documented it. Projection documented, I say. Thank you. AVA. We can file the no trespass letter with UAPD tomorrow. Also, reminder, do not reply to his side channel guilt missives. Forward. Don't feel. Forward. Don't feel. I repeat, and write it down like a commandment. That night, a long email from Jason lands to me, not to counsel. It starts like contrition and ends like a bill. Jason, email. We're sorry you felt excluded. You overreacted by canceling. The kids suffered. Wire $2,500 to cover emergency hotel nights and we'll call it even. Family should be generous. I don't reply. I forward to Ava. Then I add it to Exhibit L. Harassment and smears with a bracketed note. Sorry you felt is not equal to apology. Day 7. The no trespass letter posts to my mailbox in the police database. The officer who drops it off looks like my students from the robotics club used to sharp, polite, not yet crushed by paperwork. Officer. If he shows call. Don't bargain. We'll do the talking. Copy, I say. We litigate on paper, not on porches. I tape the officer's card behind the door where only I can see it. Day 10. Saul emails a small miracle. Jason's signed apology, shaky but typed, with Tessa initialing at the bottom. It is not poetry, it is useful. Apology, excerpt. We purchased 4 tickets 6 weeks before and did not add you. We used funds you transferred for a family trip that we represented as including you. We pressured you at the gate and threatened you after you set a boundary. We will attend therapy and repay funds under the plan. I print it 3 times. 1 for the safe, 1 for the exhibits binder, 1 to read out loud to the empty house. Because sometimes truth read aloud disinfects places shame used to sit. SFX, phone call ring. I hit speaker. He signed because the numbers trapped him, Mark. Not because he grew a new soul overnight. Don't mistake signature for conversion. I won't, I say. I'll mistake it for a contract. We set the auto debit start date. $X leaves their account the 1st of each month. If it fails, the plan pauses. Counsel resumes. Rules of engagement in 12-point type. Day 15. I get a handwritten envelope in the mail with Maya's crayon handwriting. Inside, a drawing of a dolphin that looks like a smiley comma and 3 stick people labeled me, Ethan, Grandpa. There's blue everywhere. I put it on the fridge. Boundaries don't mean you stop loving. They mean you stop paying for abuse. SFX. Afternoon doorbell chime once. I check the ring. Jason, alone. He doesn't press again. He waits, hands in pockets, A man rehearsing his argument. I don't open. I call UAPD. Me. Phone. This is Mark Bennett. No trespass letter on file. Subject is my son, Jason Bennett. He's on my porch. Dispatch. Units en route. When the cruiser slides to the curb, I open the door just wide enough to speak to the officers through the storm screen. Jason starts his script. Dad, be reasonable, and I hold up the no trespass letter. An officer takes 2 steps. Posture professional. Voice neutral. Officer. Sir, you've been notified of the conditions. All contact goes through counsel. Please leave. 2. Jason looks at me like I could save him from cause and effect. Like I always did. I don't move. He leaves. The ring chime is the softest kind of gavel. I text Ava. UAPD contact. No incident. Log it. She replies with a checkmark and, good boundary. That night I sit with Laura's recipe box open to her banana bread card, flour smudged. Measurements in her neat block letters. I read it like scripture and bake a loaf I don't actually want, just to fill the house with something that isn't a legal concept. SFX, oven door thunk, timer ding, cooling rack ping. I slice 2 pieces, put one on a plate for Nate, and take the other back to my desk. I swap the yellow legal pad I've filled with exhibits and threats for a fresh one. New header, going forward policy, not panic. Grandkids, always hello, always kind, never cash. Gifts are books and experiences, not bailouts. Jason divided by Tessa, email only via counsel. Continue auto debit. Any breach equals plan void. Me, weekly check-in with therapist. Ava's referral. To unwind the enabler wiring. Monthly review of estate plan in plain English, so future me can read. Present me. Community. Begin charitable grants calendar with Ava's trust officer, quarterly distributions. I sign the bottom like a promise to myself. Policy. The opposite of panic. SFX. Porch steps. Nate takes the plate, lifts it like a toast. Nate. What's this one called? Not a bribe, I say. Just banana bread. He bites, nods, speaks around crumbs. You know, the scary part of boundaries is the first week. After that it's just a map. Quote. I look at the fresh legal pad, at the fridge crayon dolphin, at the sealed envelopes in the safe, at the house that finally sounds like a house. Maps are what keep people from getting lost, I say. The phone buzzes with a bank alert. First repayment received. I screen grab it, save to Exhibit M. Compliance. Not because I expect the pattern to hold forever, but because when it breaks, it'll break on paper. I turn off the lights. The quiet isn't empty anymore. It's earned. The load found the columns, and I found my spine. SFX, morning campus ambience bikes whir past, distant bell tower, doors hiss. Quarterly distribution day. The trust officer sent a tidy email last week, grant cycle executed per schedule. Ohio State College of Engineering Robotics Fund, Columbus Children's Literacy. Mid-Ohio Food Collective, Senior Services. Today I asked to see where a line item turns into hands and light. SFX. Lab room tone, small servos, laptops tapping. In a teaching lab at Ohio State. 3 middle schoolers in safety glasses fold around a half-built robot. A grad TA shows them a PID loop like it's a magic trick. The grant bought the kits, the batteries, and the bus rides that got these kids across town. One kid asks if aluminum is lighter than plastic, in robot math. I grin. In robot math, curiosity is the heaviest element. The department chair thanks me. Points to a small placard I requested. Bennett Robotics. Funded by a neighbor who believes in bridges. My name isn't large. It doesn't need to be. If Ethan or Maya ever wander this hallway, I want them to read the sentence, not the surname. SFX, page turn on a thin program. Next stop, a library branch off High Street. The children's literacy grant paid for Saturday reading circles and a shelf of bilingual picture books. A girl in a purple hoodie reads to a therapy dog with the focus of a surgeon. A librarian squeezes my hand and says, "You cut through red tape like you've done this before." I smile. Paper is my language now. Paper over promises. Outside, the air smells like cut grass and late decisions. I walk to my truck and sit for a minute with the quiet. Let me put this plainly. Because that's how it finally worked. I used to be an enabler. I called it love. I confused kindness with surrender. And I let toxic people narrate over my life. Because I was scared to be called selfish. I let narcissist logic into my house. You owe us. Don't embarrass the family. What mom would have wanted, and paid the invoice with my silence. Then I learned the difference between love and logistics. Boundaries are logistics. Governance is love for the future. It says, this house still stands when the storm returns. SFX, home door opens, the familiar clock tick. Back home, the safe clicks open like a well-made joke. Inside, client copies, institution letters, the capacity letter, and the yellow legal pad now replaced by a fresh white binder labeled policy. I checked the Bennett restitution account. Auto debit #2 cleared on the 1st, as scheduled. If it fails next month, policy will do the talking. I don't bargain with gravity. SFX, printer hum trust officers quarterly report spools. A tidy 2-page report lands in the tray. OSU robotics. 18 kits, 1 paid mentor. Bus stipends for 2 schools. Children's literacy. 120 new titles. 60 Saturday seats filled. Food collective. 1,400 meals. Pantry refrigeration serviced. Senior services. 35 wellness checks. 12 ride vouchers. Those numbers are not revenge. They're repair. SFX, porch birds, a light wind. On the porch, Nate drops into the opposite chair. He sets a brown paper-wrapped loaf on the table. Nate, it's banana bread, but don't get ideas. It's not a bribe. I laugh. Copy. Policy accepts carbs. He nods at the binder. How's the peace holding? By design, I say. 30-day cooling-off period ends next week. If they breach, Ava handles it. If they comply, paper still handles it. He sips, looks down the street. You ever want to call him? I always want to, I say. I'm a father. I also want bridges to ignore rust. Wanting isn't policy. SFX, phone buzz, email chime. A message from Saul. Therapy session #2 completed. Attendance verified. Auto debit posted. Jason is quiet. We're working. I forward it to Ava and file it under Exhibit M. Compliance. 1 small dot on a chart that isn't my job to draw. SFX, fridge door, paper magnet thwack. I add Maya's second drawing next to the first. A robot with a smiling face and the word, go, in bubble letters. No checks, no moral lecture, just a kid pointing an arrow at the future. In the evening, I drive to a shelter where the food collective is serving dinner. The line moves with practiced efficiency, steered by volunteers with good wrists and better boundaries. A man my age thanks me without knowing he's thanking me. Maybe he's thanking someone who ever funded the hot tray and the lights that work. Good. Gratitude shouldn't have to be addressed. SFX, night crickets, front gate latch. At home, I sit at Laura's desk. The desk knows the weight of plans. I write a short note and slide it behind the policy binder. Lessons, for me, for anyone. If someone calls your boundaries abuse, they're announcing their dependency on your compliance. Gaslighting collapses in the presence of written evidence. Don't litigate on the lawn. Litigate on paper. Charity is not a weapon. It's a way to refuse entitlement while still choosing good. Love your grandkids loudly. Love yourself in writing. I sign it, date it, shut the drawer. SFX. Text buzz Ava. AVA, text. Trust disbursements posted. Next quarter we can add a small DAF if you want flexible grants. Also, proud of you. Clear beats nice. Me, text. Do the DAF. And thank you for being the railing. She replies with a single emoji that looks like a clasped clip. Paper. Secured. I stand, turn off the office light, and let the house be a house. Tomorrow I'll walk by the elementary school and look for kids carrying robot kits that didn't exist last month. Maybe I'll bake banana bread and bring a loaf to the library staff. Maybe I'll do nothing at all because peace isn't a task list. If you're listening to this, and something in you recognizes the enabler in me, the man who mistook surrender for kindness, then hear this. You can be generous and still say no. You can love people and still refuse their scripts. You can leave the airport without boarding a plane and still arrive exactly where you're supposed to be. SFX. Front door lock clicks. Night settles clean. Justice served quietly is still justice. Governance isn't loud. It's steady. It's a will that says what you mean, a trust that does what you say, a boundary that doesn't apologize for existing. That's the ending. not a twist, a perimeter, and inside it, a life. Here's the truth I wish someone had handed me years ago. Protecting your peace is not cruelty, it's maintenance. The biggest lesson I learned is that no is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a monologue for securing your mental health. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're seatbelts. When people call your limits toxic or abusive, what they often mean is, your compliance used to benefit me. I used to be the enabler running on guilt, outsourcing my power, letting gaslighting rewrite facts I could have written down. The shift happened when I replaced apologies with policy, paper over promises, governance over guilt. In practice, that meant keep everything in writing, involve a third-party lawyer, divided by therapist, secure your bank accounts, update your will divided by trust, divided by POAs, and refuse to litigate on the lawn. If someone threatens consequences for your selfishness, remember, healthy love has room for no. Choosing quiet justice, a clear plan, verified capacity, charitable outcomes did more for my sanity than a year of arguing ever could. You can be generous and still decline access. You can love your grandkids loudly while saying no to the adults who script you as the ATM. Peace isn't passive. It's a set of systems that keep you steady when the next storm rolls in. So, tell me AITA for what I did. What would you have done in my situation? And you? Have you ever dealt with an entitled family member or a narcissist who called your boundaries toxic? How did you protect your sanity without burning every bridge? Drop your survival tips, scripts, and paper beats drama. Tactics in the comments. Someone in this thread needs the blueprint you learned the hard way.